And the float builders and decorators have become so fond of the little people sitting in the chairs that they gave them all names and have become really attached to them.
You know, one of the biggest problems they had, not the bicycle falling off from side to side, but it was when the float would bounce a little bit. When the float would bounce a little bit, the bicycle would have a tendency to pop off the wire. But they've got that fixed. As you can see, those braces there on each of the wheels. It still befuddles me, and people have tried to explain to me how this all happens.
Yep.
But anyway,
Steve
it does
Serrurier
happen.
could tell you. He's the fellow who was in charge of its putting together.
And the stuntman up on top riding the bicycle. The winner of the Humor Trophy from Dr. Pepper. Leave it to Dr. Pepper. It seems every year they have this magnificent, humorous float. Remember last year they had the big fire engine with my kids riding on.
That's right. And they're
I'm
all
not as
still
nervous
alive,
this
aren't they?
year.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they're doing fine.
Well, very nice indeed. The flowers in this float consist of carnation petals, straw flowers, pampas grass, and various seeds, spices, and bark. That gentleman looks very nervous up there.
I hate to see him go.
Golden Palomino horses, silver-mounted saddles, and a group of men from one of the most beautiful parts of the world, the Santa Barbara County Silver-Mounted Sheriff's Posse, under the direction of their Marshal, Sheriff John Carpenter. The group of horses is a mix of several breeds, including quarter horses, foxtrotters. Santa Barbara County, by the way, covers such a beautiful area. Santa Barbara, the lovely Solvang, some of the most picturesque country in the world, the Santa Ynez Valley, wearing their Spanish outfits. They look wonderful.
Now riding that half Arabian, half quarter horse named Blondie, Sheriff John Carpenter, leading the Santa Barbara County Silver Mounted Sheriff's Posse.
May 1984 be a year for you where the good things don't stop. That's the wish from your friends at Alpha Beta Supermarkets, where the savings don't stop.
Oh.
Barbara Police Posse, under the direction of their Marshal, Sheriff John Carpenter.
Coming up is the sweepstakes trophy winner, the grand prize to the most beautiful entry in the parade. They did make it around the corner. Good. This is from Lowry's Foods Incorporated, Volunteer for Adventure. That's what Marco Polo did in an effort to find tea and spices in the East, and that is Raul Rodriguez, the man whose name we mention, it seems, many times during these years because he is a gifted designer. It is his inspiration that you see there, and he's riding with his pet bird, Roxy. She is a hyacinth macaw, a blue hyacinth macaw. You see two food dogs who flank a graceful bridge on which the temple jars and chests carrying the tea and spices are waiting, and actually those food dogs are the ancient guards of the Buddhist temple, who were not dogs really at all, but lions, were they not? I'm asking Carol Huff, the brain behind the two of us sitting here. She is our brain, literally and figuratively sitting with us. This is Leslie Ann Kauai, the 1981 Tournament of Roses Queen, accompanied by Susie Wan and Mark Steele riding up there. Lots of glad petals, sinuata, cornflowers, status confetti, red points, poinsettias, marigolds and glads. Red carnations go into the tassels. Purple dendrobium orchids. The jade that you will see is actually strung peas. The pearls that you see are actually strung onions.
You know, talking about Raul Rodriguez, Raul's designs have won sweepstakes and grand prize for the last 8 years in a row.
You will see orange peels, avocado peels, fruits, veggies. The dog's teeth on that float were lunaria petals to give them a pearlized effect. The Ming trees are moss topped with Japheth orchids.
Congratulations to Lowry's Foods. They won the sweepstakes trophy. And now from Pennsylvania, the only school in our country that has a canary as a mascot. Here's the Allen High School Canary Marching Band.
Stay tuned to KTLA for Rose Parade Encore, immediately following this live telecast.
Bob Eubanks, Stephanie Anthony Edwards bringing you the 95th Tournament of Roses Parade. And this, the Allen High School Canary Marching Band.
Do you know what they're playing?
No.
They're playing them basses, which for a trombonist is a killer, let me just tell you.
Speaking of a killer, I think it's only fair to mention that if Stephanie and I are da-da-da-da-da every once in a while, for the first time in my 6 years, there are some entries actually coming down the parade route out of order.
Yeah, I think they're from another parade, personally.
We've frantically searched through our book, and our researcher Carol Huff is here helping us out. Thank goodness for that.
Then the Oddfellows and Rebecca's float with their 30th entry in the Rose Parade. The Independent Order of Oddfellows and Rebecca's celebrate happiness through service with a floral outdoor setting. At the base of that fountain, you will see on the center of the float a revolving floral graph depicting some of the many volunteer services that Oddfellows and Rebecca's support year-round. Youth homes, homes for the aged, scholarships, medical eye research. The Rose Parade entry are just some of the ways they spend their time and efforts. And the riders on this float are Dward Fife, the Grand Ruler of California, Amy Springer, President of Theta Rho, Perry Arlen, President of Theta Rho in Kingman, Arizona, Jim Jenkel, Jr. Oddfellow from Illinois. He came out for a couple of reasons here today, I think.
For its 31st year of participation in the Rose Parade, the city of St. Louis gives us a great big thank you to those involved in the volunteer fire department, which is the theme of this float. Now, the float depicts a scene in the 1800s as the horse-drawn, steam-driven Silsby pumper leaves the firehouse with citizens and volunteers following it. At the front, the famous Budweiser Clydesdales are driven by Lloyd Ferguson, assisted by Dennis Thompson, and the Firehouse Dalmatians here. There they are. By the way, Joe Ortega originally is the driver, but Joe fell off one of these Clydesdale horses and broke his back.
Ooh.
I can understand. They're a long ways up there. Thompson, by the way, was assigned to drive in 1978. Prior to then, he spent 2 years on the Budweiser breeding farm, and he and his wife live in Hemet, California.
We send our love to Mr. Ortega and wish him well, of course.
From the city of St. Louis, Missouri, the Volunteer Fire Department. Those fabulous Clydesdale horses.
Yeah, each year I say I'll not weep when those Clydesdales march by, and I haven't made it yet. They are something. We saw those murals being seeded the other day, by the way, and, you know, they lift a bucket of seeds up there and just keep lifting them until they stick to all the glue. Now then, Puerto Rico, tourism volunteers, sights that warm you like the sun. That's what Puerto Rico is known for, of course. Presented in this salute to Puerto Rico tourism volunteers. Miss Puerto Rico Carmen Batiz, the Carnival King Tony Dastro, Hotel Chef Valentin Hernandez, Maitre d' Jose Bermudez, Waiter Jose Nieves, Attendant Mary Jo Villafon, and Cuatro player Joseph Carmut are with us.
You did good on it.
A 9-foot animated tropical bird. A native Puerto Rican plays the cuatro. That's a 4-stringed instrument in the mariachi group.
Well, under the direction of their Marshal Bob Tanner, here's a group of equestrians on their beautiful Appaloosa horses, the Tanners and the Fettermans. Earlier, the Tournament of Roses Equestrian Committee honored Roy and Isabel Fetterman for their 20 years of participation in the Rose Parade, and those are Appaloosa horses, bred by Chief Joseph of the Nez Perce Indian tribe. They've become a very popular horse, the cowboy and the pleasure rider.
Now then, while I fan myself for certainly the first time ever in this parade, we have the Director's Trophy for Excellence in Craftsmanship coming along, just a mind-blowing float. Rand McNally and Company, pioneers and American explorers that volunteered their lives to open new territories, are honored here with Rand McNally and Company's entry, Lewis and Clark. The canoes are Melaleuca bark, the rapids are blue and white iris, gypsophilia, white catalea orchids, dendrobiums. The plateaus are daffodils and narcissus. The bear, what is that bear made of? I have no idea. I'll tell you this, though. The woman who is driving the float, Ollie Wright, broke several ribs last week, and she's driving anyway. She's the lady in the canoe. Look at those animals.
Remember, we were watching them put this float together, too. They were taking thistles, the big thistles. They would take the heart out of the thistles and use the heart.
Oh, I wish we could stay with this.
From the only high school in Jasper County, Illinois, comes 41% of their total student body. It's the 245-member Newton Community High School Marching Eagles.
editions of the 1984 Rose Parade are brought to you by Toyota, who remind you to buckle up your children for safety. It's a good feeling, Toyota. ARCO, Atlantic Richfield, believes in putting its energy into volunteerism. That's why for the past 19 years, ARCO has sponsored the ARCO Jesse Owens Games, a track program for youngsters that helps them build their bodies as well as their self-esteem. ARCO is committed to putting its energy into development of our most precious resource, our young people. And that's why ARCO is proud to be an official sponsor of the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics. They brought half the town with them. Newton Community High School of Newton, Illinois. You may have heard them interviewed on the radio, and they were ready. They are really hot. Miss Carolyn Domenech is the director. Burl Ives is an alum of this school, by the way. And to raise funds to get there, they collected 282,000 bottle caps.
Wow.
And they chartered a train called the Marching Eagle Express by Amtrak. They meant business.
There we go, the Marching Eagles of Newton Community High School, Newton, Illinois. Now, the city of Sierra Madre, California presents Volunteers Search and Rescue. From the city of Sierra Madre comes this dramatic self-decorated entry designed by Cynthia Benson and Sumner Adams. It's titled Volunteers Search and Rescue. For nearly 33 years, the all-volunteer Sierra Madre Search and Rescue team has been ready to help persons in the wilderness, mountains, and deserts. The team has been responsible for saving over 1,700 lives to date from as far north as Alaska and as far south as Mexico. There we are, 37 feet high, way up above Colorado Boulevard. Bob Eubanks and Stephanie Edwards with you today.
We're looking down the road to see if Sunkist comes around the corner. They're trying awfully hard, but they've got two men in white guiding them every inch of the way here.
The Sierra Madre float, by the way, riding on the float are dog handler Jerry Newcomb and Minor Harkness, who is one of the original members. So we salute you, City of Madre, Sierra Madre, and Volunteers Search and Rescue. See the helicopter?
That was just bare bones, skeleton when we saw it a few days ago.
And one of the interesting things about this float, by the way, one of the designers, as I mentioned before, Sumner Adams, when he was a teenager, was rescued by the Sierra Madre Rescue and Search. This is Tad Griffith. This is Tad Griffith and his Roman riders. In the earliest times, man turned to horses for play and entertainment. So in Roman times, they also used them for battle, and they also had a lot of fun. They're standing up on the horses. What can I tell you? That's Roman riding. Tad Griffith is a horseman, an acrobat. He's a third-generation Roman rider. I have a good friend by the name of J.D. Thornberry, who is also a Roman rider out at the Calamigas Ranch in the Malibu Hills. It's really a fun way to ride horses, by the way. This is Tad Griffith. Some of the other riders include Kimberly Stacy and Diana Sullivan, George Michael, and Claire Lemire. Thank you.
Now, this is what I call a charming country scene. Sun-kissed growers salute the future farmers of America with a sunny day, outlined with a vivid border made of thousands of daffodils flown in from Holland. Look at those little Holsteins. On the front, the windmill provides water for the scene. At the base of the windmill, there's a gray and black burro. In the middle, the pony and calves are watching the spectators along the route. 3 white geese there. The old grain mill is complete with paddle wheel. On the back of the float, 3 little pigs enjoy the flowers. The 90th anniversary in 1983 was celebrated by the Future Farmers of America, FFA. Riding at the front of the float is the current national president, Ron Weininger of Marion, Kansas, and the immediate past president, Jan Eberly from Fallbrook, California. Jan, by the way, is a girl, and she was the first female president of the Future Farmers of America, a student at UC Davis. Smilax vine and green dendrobium, actual citrus fruits of all kinds, lemons and oranges. The weather vane is pure white carnations and corn husks. Oh, my word.
Thank you, Sun-kissed growers, for a sunny day.
When he says thank you, it means I have to shut up.
For its first time ever in the Rose Parade, the United States Postal Service salutes the volunteers. Beneath a ribbon with floral postage stamps hang 2 large Postal Service eagles that frame a large replica of the volunteer Lend a Hand postage stamp. Now, the riders on this float include Richard Hamilton from New York City, Philip Moses of New Jersey, Shirley McCoy from Ohio, Clyde Owen, from Texas, Priscilla Lopez from Arizona, and Henry Saunders from Washington, D.C. Now, the revolving background is accomplished with 76 flowered rollers. Tim Estes of CE Event used a special mechanical design of chain-driven universal joints to keep the rollers in their synchronization.
Well, it's working just as he expected it to, isn't it?
I'm glad it is, too, because they put an awful lot of work into this boat. The Postal Service salutes the volunteer. You know, the first postage stamp appeared in Britain way back in 1840, and I still think, even at 20 cents, 25 cents, it's still the best bargain in America today. To realize that you can send an envelope from one portion of our country to the other for 20 cents today, that's a pretty good bargain, folks. Thank you, the United States Postal Service.
And now from Texas, this is the Round Rock High School Dragon Band.
Once again, the biggest of the New Year's celebrations is going on right now at your Southern California Toyota dealers. The all-new 1984 Toyotas are better than ever, so there's no time to waste. When you've got the #1 selling import cars and trucks in America, you don't have them for long. So if you want a great new Toyota at a great year-end price, you'd better hurry. Don't miss out on your Toyota dealer's New Year's celebration and the chance to answer this question: what will you do with all the money you save?
From Round Rock, Texas, the Round Rock High School Dragon Band. By the way, this band features twirlers that are sisters, Jennifer and Crystal Kriegel. Two beautiful young ladies are quite talented ladies from that area. They lead this band down Colorado Boulevard today for the Tournament of Roses. Round Rock, Texas, be proud.
The director, Richard L. Gibby. Now then, everyone knows storks fly ever onward to deliver their bundles of joy, don't you?
Oh, you did, yes.
Like the stork, for 64 years now, volunteers of the City of South Pasadena Tournament of Roses Association have proudly delivered a float for this parade, and the thought that inspired this is called volunteer delivery. That's a baby's eyes looking through binoculars as he is being flown homeward to his new proud parents. You see that? His eyes are magnified at the end of those. The origin of this story is that storks know all about families and keeping them together. They stay married for life, they give loving care to their young, and it's a pretty precious little idea. The baby keeping a sharp lookout for mom, a blanket made of blue statice. The stork is flying down, following his beak of yellow mums, scarf made of orange and white roses, animated by hydraulic power that is computer controlled. Now, the engine for this float is actually in the baby bundle. The stork is actually being towed by the baby. And the beak of the stork is a trailer hitch. Are you with me here? Pretty cute.
The City of South Pasadena. I see this little horse now, Stephanie. This is the Icelandic pony, and these are members of the International Icelandic Pony Association. The Icelandic pony is the only breed in Iceland. The pony was imported by the Vikings from Denmark, and to date there are less than 600 of these horses in America. The Icelandic pony is known for its light-footed action, extreme smoothness, and these riders are under the direction of Elizabeth Hogg, all wearing authentic Iceland tack, including sheep's wool blankets. So our welcome to these muscled little ponies and their riders, the International Icelandic Pony Association. Along its entire 65-foot length, this entry from Transamerica Occidental Life Insurance Company proudly announces its theme, the Olympiad. The float celebrates the beauty of the athlete achievement in Olympic competition in honor of Transamerica Occidental Life Insurance Company being named the official insurer of the 1984 Olympics. Now, riding the float are 5 Olympic athletes. At the front step of the far side is triple jump contender Willie Banks, just to name a few of the guys. So those are some of our Olympic hopefuls, and we wish them all the luck in the world. Transamerica Occidental Life Insurance Company has brought us this magnificent float called the Olympiad.
Western Airlines brings us Volunteers Create a Rose Parade. Accompanied by a man in white and passing by signs indicating Orange Grove in Colorado are a mini band and 2 floats on this float. It's kind of cute, microscopic look here. Designed by John Benham, who also happens to be the man driving this float. This mini band is from the John Burroughs High School Band. And they are actually lip-syncing the music that was recorded from John Philip Sousa's march. The first mini float depicts New York, complete with the Statue of Liberty, the Big Apple. Showbiz-looking people. What do they look like?
I don't know.
Goofy. And they are actually Western Airline employees in disguise. And let me see here. The second float then appears to come from Mexico and features a brightly flowered saraque.
New York to Mexico, Western Airlines.
Cute idea.
In the years from 1890 to 1895, members of the Valley Hunt Club held the first 6 Rose Parades, and the following year, the Tournament Roses Association was formed, thus beginning a new parade tradition. But this is the Valley Hunt Club in their beautiful English attire, riding their big thoroughbred horses. And behind, you can see other members of the Valley Hunt Club in their carriage. One of the riders in this group, by the way, Ann Brzezinski, won a gold medal in team and individual competition at the Pan Am Games in Caracas, Venezuela. The Valley Hunt Club, that's where it all began, right there. Group of people with a carriage. They decorated the carriage. They started down Colorado Boulevard. They were trying to sell property at the time. Thank you, Valley Hunt Club.
Lots of greens and roses, beautifully used.
Making their third appearance in 10 years in a Tournament of Roses parade from North Carolina. This is the Cary High School Marching Band.
Bullock's Winter White Sale is happening now with extraordinary savings. Bullock's, what a beautiful way to live. A trumpeter featured kind of in a solo before like this on the side of the band. There he goes running back into formation now. Beautiful talent. Under the direction of Don Stubblefield since 1971, and they have been honored like crazy. 152-member band represented North Carolina and Switzerland and Romania, among other places. And they host 50 high school bands every year on Cary Band Day.
Just heard Stephanie expound is because once again our Rose Parade has come to a halt.
Good time to do it though. They're musically just wonderful. Very ambitious, huh?
And our audience really enjoys this too.
That must be Mr. Stubblefield.
There are some of the 1 million people who have lined our parade route today. The San Gabriel Mountains in the background, clear, beautiful, 84 degrees predicted high.
And even now my sister is winging homeward back to Minnesota. She's been with us for 10 days. Is she going to have a little shock in store?
Oh boy.
I miss her already.
Some of the shots of the city of Pasadena. Pasadena is one of the oldest communities here in Southern California. It has great cultural background. Beautiful, beautiful homes, and naturally it is the home of the Rose Bowl. First Rose Bowl game held back in 1902. That's when Michigan and Stanford met, and Michigan beat them 40-0. As we mentioned before, then they had chariot races. Then they had all kinds of exciting horse events. And then in 1916, they thought they would go back to a less violent sport, so they started college football again. You bet.
You joke.
Well, I wish I was joking, but I'm not.
Well, somewhere in the midst of this 5.5 miles, 2-hour, 60-float parade, we've got a bit of a breakdown ahead.
I will tell you the nice thing about our coverage of this parade. We don't leave the parade for commercials, and we don't leave the parade for football games either.
With us, you will see the entire parade from the beginning to the end.
And we find a good band to feature while there are problems up ahead. This is a particular gift of our director, Bill Rainbolt. There they go.
The Cary High School Marching Band from Cary, North Carolina.
Well, Mr. Stubblefield has great confidence in that trumpeter.
There he is. On the side, once again, the trumpeter is doing a solo. I don't know if we see a shot of it. Nope, he's leaving now.
Darn good.
Stephanie and I see the floats usually 3 times. At one time when they're just actually made of steel. Then we see them again before the flowers. Then we see them again after they start flowering. So literally, I think that if a float broke down in front of us, we could probably talk about it for 5 or 6 minutes anyway. For its first ever entry in a Rose Parade, AT&T Communications honors the world's largest volunteer association of industrial employees with this float saluting the telephone pioneers. At the front, the triangle and bell is the logo of the Telephone Pioneers of America, whose members are former and present telephone company workers. As the official sponsor of the 1984 Olympic Torch Relay, AT&T Communications reminds us that with this float, that thousands of Americans will be involved as the Olympic flame passes through all areas of the United States on its 12,000-mile, 82-day journey before it reaches the Los Angeles Coliseum peristyle. The Telephone Pioneers of America will coordinate that cross-country run. The lighting of the Olympic flame dates back to the ancient Olympiads, where a sacred flame was offered to the goddess Hestia during athletic competitions. The flame was kept burning before her altar during the games, and that's how that all started. I want to thank the chairman of the Torch Run, Gib Egan, Arthur Gulipo, their executive director, American Telephone and Telegraph, their first time. We're going to miss AT&T. No, we are. We're going to miss AT&T.
You may be right. The city of Alhambra brings us the house that love built, marking the 10th anniversary of the founding of Ronald McDonald Houses, and what a service they do. The city of Alhambra presents the house that love built. Co-sponsored by Pasadena-based Golden State Foods, this is surrounded by heart-shaped symbols, and that's appropriate. A sculpted figure of